With more details on CM Punk's firing from AEW and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Asked to share a standout memory from his time feuding with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rob Van Dam told SE Scoops, "It was fun, it was good TV, but being in the center of it, when I think about what it was like for me and my perspective, I was dealing with a bit of political pressure, adjusting there. So I think about during that time, I feel like no matter what I was doing, like they always expected something more out of me, and I never really understood what it was that they were expecting because I thought, hey, you hired me because of what I do, I want to do it, let me do it. Everyone wanted to put a little change on me or have me do a little more of this or get to know this guy a little bit better. So for me, a lot of that was so frustrating that it wasn't quite as enjoyable as it might have been on the outside." Touching on the state of the pro wrestling business, Seth Rollins said on After the Bell, "We are in the boom. You have to understand there is another company that just put 80,000 people in a stadium for one night. A week before that, we sold 90,000 tickets to WrestleMania, broke the all-time gate on the first day. There are 7-8 different television programs of pro wrestling on a week, not counting premium live events or pay-per-views. The talent roster across the board is beyond what any generation has ever put forward. It's very easy to look back at the past with rose-colored glasses and say, but this, but that. I'm not taking anything away from the guys who paved the way. I stand on the shoulders of these guys. I don't do what I do without the legends of our industry that have defined their own generations, but they should be proud, and I know they are because they are the people who got us to where we are now. The business is bigger than it's ever been. It makes more money than ever. It's healthier. The future of the business is so bright, and I'm so happy to be a part of it in any capacity. I can't tell you the pride I take when I see young cats coming up and succeeding in our industry and pushing the thing forward for guys getting an opportunity to prove their worth. And they do because they are capable, and seeing guys like Edge, who is close to deciding to hang it up one way or another, going out there and tear the house down with Sheamus in Toronto. On every level, it's just firing. I can't say enough about our industry right now. I'm so proud of it. It's healthier physically than it's ever been. The longevity of our generation is going to be better than the generation before us because we learned and got smarter. The business as a whole, the money, it's all there. I can't say enough. I really can't." Speaking about his role in AEW, Colt Cabana told Muscleman Malcolm, "I don't know about big AEW superstar. I'm there, I get a check, sometimes I get on the shows, I do help backstage, I do a lot of producing. I was producer for Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta. I was on the headsets and helping the director. As a producer, because I know wrestling, the director might not know wrestling, so I'll be on the headset and can kind of see. You might want to get this angle because this might happen. It usually does because I've been wrestling for so long, I can't foresee it." As Dennis Rodman is set to make his AEW debut, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful reported that the decision to book Dennis Rodman for AEW Collision was made in the last couple of weeks before the show. With John Cena being the host of the recent Payback event, this was said regarding when he was told about this role, as Fightful said. The idea to have John Cena host didn't occur until very recently, and he wasn't told until Friday. Speaking of John Cena, there was apparently a script change for his appearance on Smackdown, with Fightful noting that originally John Cena was listed as interrupting a Jimmy Uso promo on Smackdown instead of the other way around. For a potential match down the line for John Cena since making his return to WWE, WRKD Wrestling reported that John Cena versus Cody Rhodes has been discussed as a possibility during Cena's return stint. In In a health update on Jerry the King Lawler, who recently appeared on Raw, Jim Ross said on his Grilling JR podcast, Lawler was feeling better. We talked about doing some autograph shows together, a little tour. I think that's going to happen, the two of us. That combination not sounding egocentric. There are a lot of good announcers and a lot of announcers doing their best work, which is great. I can hear some of my phraseology in everybody, certain phrases. Talking to Jerry was great, and I think we would do really well in the autograph world. If we can get Lawler healthy with prayers and good wishes, I know he has to get his knee replaced. I don't know when that's going to be. After AEW Collision went off the air, Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks could be seen in the ring running a few victory laps. Here's the clip. Responding to a user that asked about CM Punk returning to WWE following his firing from AEW, Sean Ross Sapp Fightful wrote that there's always a chance, but there are a lot of top people on the roster in WWE that don't want him there. When it comes to the reason CM Punk was fired by AEW, Dave Meltzer said on social media that the results of the investigation of the incident last Sunday led to this. The non-wrestler eyewitness report in the current issue of The Observer is probably the best description as to the what and the why. Previously, Meltzer had reported this in the Wrestling Observer newsletter regarding the CM Punk and Jack Perry altercation at All-In. Another version, and this would be a neutral source who is not a wrestler, but was there and witnessed it, and his version was that right after Perry came to the back, Punk went nose-to-nose with him aggressively and asked him if he had a problem. That person said Perry said he was just looking to get heat as a heel. Punk shoved him hard, Perry got in his face, and in that version, Punk sucker punched him and went for a choke. People immediately broke it up, and Khan was yelling at Punk to let him go. Yesterday, AEW President Tony Khan also offered a statement on Punk's firing from the company as he said, "Phil played an important role within AEW and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contracts with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I'm making the decision in the best interest of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week, our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world." When it comes to how those on AEW Collision reacted to the firing of CM Punk, PW Insider reported that we are told that the reaction of the CM Punk AEW termination backstage at tonight's Collision in Chicago depends on the person. Some are really down on it, others, as you can imagine, feel it was the right move and are happy about it. Staying on the topic of reactions to Punk's firings on AEW Collision, Sean Ross Sapp revealed that there were dueling CM Punk Colt Cabana chants ahead of AEW Collision. It seems that prior to AEW Collision, a meeting was held regarding CM Punk, with Brian Alvarez noting on Wrestling Observer Radio, "So before the show, I don't have a lot of details about what happened, but there was a meeting before the show, so Tony Khan told everyone what happened." For a theory as to why CM Punk was let go from AEW, Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Radio that, "I can't say because I cannot get into his brain, but yes, there were a lot of people who thought that when that contract was signed with the Young Bucks and Page and everything that he wanted out, and something was gonna happen." For more details on AEW's investigation into the CM Punk incident with Jack Perry, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, "I know people who were interviewed who were not there to witness the backstage brawl, and it was about background, the history and things like that." Ringside News added that it was also noted that those people interviewed by AEW's investigation committee were also asked how things had changed over the last year and what the solution to problems would be. There were a lot of questions that didn't have to do with this incident. In the end, CM Punk was fired over that incident backstage at All-In London with Jack Perry, but Dave Meltzer noted that the lawyers talked about more than Sunday. They talked about everything, the stuff that's come out, and lots of stuff that hasn't come out. According to Sports Illustrated, it's believed that CM Punk will respond to his firing from AEW, as they noted that this is by no means the end of Phil Brooks as CM Punk. Sources close to both sides expect a response from Punk, which holds the potential to be explosive. It is disappointing that, after so much promise just 2 years ago, the relationship ends in such a disjointed manner. It was previously reported that CM Punk lunged at AEW President Tony Khan, as Dave Meltzer gave more details on this on Wrestling Observer Radio. Throughout this whole ordeal, Brian Alvarez and I were far too kind to him. That's the reality. We were far too kind. I always tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I always tried to give his side, but they didn't want to hear it. They just wanted to go, "Oh, you were after him," and everything like that. Lunging was far too kind. If you saw the actual wording of what was said, I was toning it down. It was more than lunging. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.